video suggested to me. This was a woodworking guy, and he was talking about small sales. And see, he makes furniture and sells the items he makes at craft and home fairs. And maybe he takes 4 days to make a coffee table or end table or something, and he charges maybe, I don't know, $400 or $600. He didn't really say how much he charges, but anyway, he goes to these fairs and he sits there all day, and sometimes he sells one of his tables or chairs or whatever he's selling, and sometimes he doesn't. One day at the fair, he was talking to one of the antique vendors who had been selling at these things for many years. So he was very experienced, and he told the woodworking guy, you got to have lots of items for sale, not than just your big ticket items. He had a bunch of lower priced items for sale in addition to his big expensive antiques. So the woodworking guy went home and he went through his scrap wood pile. I mean, this was, he pulled out little pieces of wood that were too short for use on any of his larger tables and stuff. And he started making some wall hangings. And this was basically throwaway wood. This wasn't good for anything. He even got his kids involved in making stuff. And he made some arrows and some religious crosses. It was basically junk wood. And all the while, he was remembering what the old timer had told him, and that was that people come to these events, they plan to buy something. And he also said that everybody has $20 to spend at one of these things. So when the woodworking guy was thinking about what to charge for this basically scrap wood that he was turned into wall hangings, he charged $20 or maybe 30 or 40 if they were really big. And he also said that arrow wall hangings sell well for some reason. I don't know. So he and his kids made arrows, and they put little picture hanging things on the back side, and he sold them for $20. Then he had an old 4x4. So he cut it into 1-inch sections, sanded them a little, and put polyurethane, I think that's what it's called, on them, and sold them as a set of 5 for $30 as coasters. Now, do you know how many 1-inch coasters you can get out of an 8-foot 4x4? Right? I mean, if you take into consideration the thickness of the saw blade cuts, you can probably get 93 or 94 coasters out of a 4x4. So that's approximately 19 sets at $30 a set. That's $570 from one 4x4, and a little bit of effort sanding them down and polyurethaning them. So he took his wall hangings and coasters to his next show and each show thereafter, and he could pretty much guarantee it would be a highly profitable day, whether he sold any of his big ticket items or not. So what's the purpose of this story? Well, the purpose is to get you thinking of how selling lots of little things can not only give you a great cash flow, especially if they're digital, and in addition, they lead people to buying your bigger stuff. Now, I don't know if this woodworking guy was smart enough to capture information for follow-up from people buying his wall hangings and coasters, but at least he could put a business card in with each purchase so people would remember him and call him for more stuff, or maybe some big ticket custom furniture, or maybe he glued his business card onto the back of the wall hanging. I don't know, that would have been a good thing. But as an online marketer, you have an even bigger advantage in that you will get the person's email address when they buy something from you online. So you can keep in touch with the buyer pretty much forever. So, as long as you keep giving them good value. Also, you don't have to have a wood shop or a metal shop or any kind of physical tools other than a computer. And you don't have to haul stuff to craft shows and flea markets and sit there all day. What we're talking about is a concept that there was a book written about it called The Long Tail. And to me,